Good morning. We are at week 8 of Carnivore. And the reason I say good morning is because we usually film these on Sunday afternoon and we just didn't get around to it yesterday. So we are doing a morning recap
of
of
last
the
week.
of last week.
Yeah.
So today is day 57. So yesterday would have been 8 weeks on Carnivore.
So it would have been day 56.
Yeah.
So, how's it gone this week?
This week's been fine as far as everything goes. I feel like I've mellowed out as far as energy levels and all that goes. I've in the beginning it was really rough, as y'all know, and then I feel like day 40ish took a turning point for me as far as energy levels go. How about you?
Uh, Digestive issues really resolved except for on one day. We'll talk about that in
Yeah.
a minute. And energy level, excellent. Still feel younger, leaner, a lot of go, 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 go. And inflammation wise, I think there's might be some improvement there. I got less pain in my hands when I'm milking. Still got a little bit, and lower back pain, not much. But it's kind of hard to determine if it's not inflammation or because I got a lot of muscle sore because we're physically active on the farm, things ramping up or go, go, go. A lot of muscle soreness and stiffness. I think it's from the physical activity, not necessarily the inflammation. Like,
Within your body.
yeah. So I think there's some improvement going on there. Maybe once we start, our bodies start getting adjusted to this more intensive physical labor because we're in our busy season on the farm. We'll see what it's like next week, but I think there's something going on there. So
So overall, good week for you too.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we always do the positive and the negative of the week.
So the positive would be what I just said.
Yeah.
So you're
You
positive.
uh positive. Just still feeling good, I guess. I can't think of. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around when we do these that it's been a whole week and what we did in that week. I feel like time flies, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, that was last Monday when we went to Red Lobster. Like, I don't know. It's just last week was revival. So trying to
Mm.
get my brain in the right place. So we were going to church every night. Um, I guess a positive really for last week, we were in a lot of social situations from going out to eat for our anniversary to eating at church twice during last week.
Hmm.
And it was fine. Like it was no pressure. We just prepared ahead of time and everything went great. So that was a positive being able to see that you could go in these social situations and kind of prepare ahead knowing you were going into them. And so that was a positive. I feel like just staying ahead of it. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about if you don't stay on top of like laying stuff out, or if you get behind, then it can be really hard to come in, especially for us when we're out working all day. And I've got behind on laying stuff out or prepping in my head what we're gonna have, and it comes in and we come in and it's like, what are we gonna have? I can't just throw spaghetti together. So being able to stay on top of things this week and just planning ahead and knowing, hey, we got some social situations coming up. How are we gonna go into these? I feel like that was a positive that we handled those really well. Negative, do you have anything?
Negative, I can bring it up on Tuesday.
What was Tuesday?
So Monday was our anniversary, and that's where we went and ate Red Lobster, and it was the best I think anniversary meal we probably ever had. It feels like because we had what bacon wrapped scallops, Maine lobster, Caribbean lobster, and like four. We ordered two skewers of shrimp, and then ended up ordering two more, and it was just so good. We mentioned many times that our taste buds have changed,
Mm-hmm.
and the the butter had a little bit of garlic, and I tasted. I think it was parsley. It had a little bit of green in it. I believe it was parsley, but because we hadn't had that in so long, we could. It was like so flavorful
Mm-hmm.
and tasty.
Y'all
Uh,
heard me talk about that before from instances like where the chicken that we've gotten before had pepper in it when we asked them not to, but it did. It did, and we ate it, and it was like an explosion in the
mm,
mouth. Same thing with those chomps that we started eating again with those spices. The way your taste buds change after not having something for a while, it's just amazing.
Mhm.
So
So Monday. So now Tuesday for the negative. Callie made it was the carnivore coffee ice cream, and she used coffee grounds, vanilla, and honey. So that would probably been more of an animal based style ice cream. And she likes coffee.
yeah,
You didn't really care for the
I
ground coffee.
well, I didn't grind it up enough. So when I make my coffee in the mornings, I have this filter right here, and I grind my own coffee and then put it in this, and it sits inside my half-gallon jar, and then I put water over it, and it sits. Well, I had just made coffee the day before, so I just scooped it out of this. Well, I don't finely grind this because it'll seep through the filter, and so there was bigger chunks in that ice cream, so you couldn't just eat it. Like I was literally spitting out chunks of coffee, and I didn't like that texture.
So I liked that texture and I liked the flavor of it. But that was three variables that we introduced into my diet all at once: the vanilla, the honey, and the coffee, which I don't really like drinking, but I like that ice cream. The next morning, my stomach was a little upset, churning. So I think it was something to do with that, because that's really we ate the salmon chaffles also Tuesday.
And we ate the ice cream like right before bed,
Yeah,
later at night. But you also don't do a lot of dairy. I
yeah.
mean, even when it comes to cheese, you're not eating a lot of cheese. So I wonder if that was it.
So something was going on there. But on Friday night, she made the ice cream again. This is our new favorite treat, y'all. Carnivore ice cream is amazing.
Oh, that
Uh,
wasn't Tuesday. We didn't eat it at nighttime. Tuesday was in the middle of the day.
Tuesday in the middle of the day.
I was thinking of Friday. Yeah,
So
Tuesday. It
Friday.
was Tuesday afternoon. Me and the kids sat on the porch and ate it. Yeah, and you were working and took
Mm.
it upstairs. So that was completely different.
So then on Friday she made it again, but you used the chocolate salt element
Right.
and a little bit of honey, and that was it.
With the heavy cream and eggs.
And it tasted like a Wendy's
It was
frosty.
amazing.
Amazing, and I had no issues the next day. So
So it wasn't the dairy then.
yeah, I don't think it was might not have been the dairy. It could have been the coffee, which I'm not used to, or the vanilla. So there's two variables there that might have caused my stomach
Now
issue on
we have
Tuesday.
it was probably the coffee because we have had vanilla when I've made those carnivore bars. You've had vanilla.
So coffee.
It's probably the coffee because that's a bean.
So
I mean,
fortunately, I don't drink coffee.
yeah,
But yeah, that ice cream is our new favorite go-to, and we have introduced honey back into our diet as of last week.
yeah, but it's only
Only a
like,
little bit.
and it's only in like recipes like this. It's
Mhm.
not like we're just putting honey on everything and eating it all the time. So
So that's more transitioning towards animal-based, and so we've introduced that back in our diet. And we're also beekeepers. It comes from an insect. It's natural. It's not man-made and a refined. It's honey, raw honey.
and it's something. It's like you said. It's something else we produce.
Yeah.
So with me mentally, that's where with my milk and in my coffee, which I'm still doing by the way, but I've cut back drastically on. Um, it's hard for me to wrap my brain around not being able to have something that I know is good for you as far as raw milk goes, and we produce it. So that's kind of one of those fine lines that I walk on this way of eating. So
So the raw milk I haven't introduced
you
yet.
know,
It may be on day 90. I've been 56 days without it. I can go a little bit longer just to see. Uh, so yeah, that was a long story to my negative.
to your negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess negative for me again would be the weight. So this time last week or 2 weeks ago, I had gained like all the weight back plus 2 more pounds, and I was gaining at least a pound to 2 pounds overnight over a course of 4 days. It was very discouraging. I was ready to walk away from this. There's been multiple times I've been ready to walk away from this diet, to be honest.
Mm.
And last week when I weighed. So I'll weigh a few times during the week. I know people say don't do that, but I do. And just to kind of keep an eye on it and try to tweak things if I need to. And so throughout the week, I've been weighing. And then on Sunday, I'll take that weight and say, okay, this is what I've gained or how I was over the course of the week. And so when I weighed yesterday morning, I was 4 pounds heavier than I was last Sunday. So I haven't got all the way back up to what I was when we started, and I haven't got all the way back up what I was 2 weeks ago when I was gaining like a pound to 2 pounds overnight for a course of a few days. So as of yesterday morning, I'm 4 pounds heavier than I was last week. So I don't know. I've cut back on my milk. What's changed as far as my coffee goes, I got some protein powders. I'm not a huge fan of them as far as taste goes. I got salted caramel and I got some collagen, and I'm not a huge fan of the salted caramel. I've been putting it in the kids like smoothies occasionally when I make them smoothies, but I've been using the collagen because it's vanilla, and then I've cut back drastically on the milk. So I was putting about a cup of milk in my coffee every morning. I put about a quarter cup now, and I put about half a packet of that chocolate salt element in there, and it's pretty good. It's like my treat. It's like mentioned a minute ago. There's been multiple times during this diet where I could have walked away from it, but I committed to 90 days. My kids know that I committed to 90 days, and they're really cheering us on this. So every day we're documenting this, and they're like, "You've made it to day 56," and so I'm going to finish it out for me because I said I made a commitment. I said I'm doing it in 90 days, and I'm finishing it out for my kids. So this coffee in the mornings, with the stuff I put in it, this is like a treat for me because it's been kind of a struggle. So yeah, that's what I've changed. So I've cut back on stuff, trying to keep. I mentioned before, for me, if we don't have something that I can go and grab, as far as like if I get just need like a snack or something to tie me over, uh, the cheese is what I want to go to because it's right there and it's easy. I'll just break off a piece and go. So trying to keep the cabinet with like chomps and stuff like that, where I'm going to get like a good protein source and not those high calorie cheeses. So I'm not too discouraged about my weight. I kind of feel like I've come around full circle a little bit as far as this is just how it's going to be maybe. And I'm not really going to lose on this way of eating. So as long as I'm not gaining and getting up in that 1 to 2 pound overnight range, and that thankfully all went away. But I've just come to the conclusion, I think, that this is not a diet where I am going to lose weight. So I've kind of been okay with that now. Now I'm just trying to make it through 90 days. So
On the weight topic, I started working out last week. I did all 7 days. Finally, got in a little habit of it, and my weight maintained.
well, good.
So
You didn't lose.
didn't lose.
I mean, I'm really active like all the time. You just have your desk job like 8 hours. You're very active in the morning, and you're very active from the afternoon on. But I'm like active all the time, and you didn't lose weight when you're working out. I don't know.
It's a conundrum.
I don't know.
All right. So we covered Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We
So
had
stomach issue.
that was because of Tuesday, the ice cream.
Both of us had stomach issues.
Yeah, you did too. Yeah.
What do we eat Monday night? The chaffles.
The Chaffles, and then the ice cream with coffee and vanilla.
See, I drink coffee every single day, but I wonder if it was because it was later in the day and it just didn't settle well. Both of us had stomach issues.
Wednesday was Burritos, and we ate at church. We had all we was able to eat was sour cream and ground beef.
Josh. So Josh is another instance where Josh prepared ahead. So we knew what we were going to have, what was going to be catered, and so he called, and we knew we were going to have chicken as the meat and ground beef as the meat. So you called them,
and I asked them how they cooked their meat, and they told me the chicken was in vegetable oil, it had sugar in the seasoning, and the only thing that we could have would be the ground beef. So that's what we ate. And I think you brought
I brought stuff. So I had Wednesday morning. I made those muffins again. We ate some of them. I believe it was Wednesday I made the muffins. And then we ate some for breakfast. And then I brought the rest of them. And then I made us a few eggs. And so kind of prepared in that sense. So we had the ground beef with sour cream. We had those carnivorelifestyle muffins. And then we had some eggs.
And then the next day was Thursday. We had our easy go-to, the tuna patties. Things are awesome. We got a whole pantry full of tuna now from last night. We went and bought a bunch from a store going out of business at a discount. We bought what, 30 cans of tuna?
Yeah, we're good with tuna for a
We're
while because we
stocked
don't
up.
eat it often. I wouldn't even say we eat it once a week. But those tuna patties are really one of those things. What did we do Thursday? It was one of those things where tuna patties are one of those things where if we're out working late or whatever and it's like, what are we going to make? That's super simple to throw those together. It doesn't take long at all.
Put an egg on top and some cream cheese. It's amazing. Then we had Primal Blend, the Oregon ground beef with Oregon meat in it. That was just a patty with, like, you had an egg on it.
Yeah.
That's amazing as well. So really the new thing that we tried last week was that ice cream and the Boston butt sous vide.
Okay.
So what we did was I put the Boston butt in a Ziploc bag, vacuum seal bag, with butter and salt only, and then I sous vide it for several hours, and then reverse seared it on cast iron, and then low smoked it to get that smoke flavor. And what did you think of it?
Okay. Well, it was good, but it did not settle well with me. I was miserable for the rest of the night. And so we, we have made comments in the past, like pork, we've noticed we're kind of, I don't know, finicky about it a little bit on this. Like me personally, I've noticed it affects me a little bit more, but I will say that we had been eating it, and then I was like, let's take a break from it because I just don't feel the best. We've been eating it a lot. And then I did a Boston butt, and I did that Boston butt in the crock pot with just butter and salt. It was amazing. It tasted so good, and it had no effects off of it. And I was like, well, maybe it's just we need to cut back on our pork a little bit, and it'll just be an occasional thing. So I had found this Boston butt and thawed it out and asked Josh to sous vide it so it'd be something different. So he did the sous vide and then he smoked it for a little bit, and we ate it. And we ate pretty early that night. We weren't out and about late or anything like that. That was what, Friday?
Yeah.
I was within a couple of hours. My stomach was rolling. I was burping. Like it. I did not feel good. So I don't know what. The only thing that we can think of, we talked about it yesterday, was maybe the smoke gave it something different. I don't know. That was the only difference in it. And we hadn't ate pork in a while. It's not like I was on pork overload or anything like that. So it definitely did not settle well that day. So that was the only difference, was the smoker. And
Your sister Molly
my
has
sister,
issue with
she
smoke.
has issues whenever we smoke stuff. She'll have some gas issues and stuff. So I don't know.
I didn't have any issue with it. It was amazing, delicious. Probably the most tender Boston butt I ever had.
It
But
was good,
it was
and it was
yeah,
great in that sense. It was just how it affected me after.
no issue with it. But last week when I ate Boston butt 2 days in a row, you watched the last week recap,
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, I had a little bit of issue. But nothing then.
And you were coming off of a lot of pork. So you had it Saturday, Sunday, then you had it again on Friday.
Yeah.
And you were fine. I don't know.
Okay, yesterday, what is that?
What does that
Is that
say?
Friday?
That's
Saturday.
Saturday. So we had the chance of really severe weather coming in to the state of Alabama Saturday. And so Friday, we spent a good deal of the day prepping and getting generators in place and things like that. And then Saturday morning, Josh and the boys went and prepped some more, fed hay and helped move some things. And then we got some things in order here. And then we kind of worked around the house just so we were close. And so I had thrown a chicken in the crock pot Saturday morning because we didn't know what that evening was going to hold as far as the storms and everything goes. It ended up being a late night, but thank God they passed us to the north and to the south. And so we were fine as far as the storms go. But that crock pot chicken came in handy because we just grabbed it and we were able to eat on it. I threw some sides together for the boys, made some eggs for us, didn't I? And it was fine. It's super easy, just butter and salt in the crock pot.
It was really good. And then yesterday was just leftovers, nothing real special.
Yeah, just ground beef leftover with some eggs. And did we eat anything last night? I don't think we did. Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So after church, we went to town to get some groceries. The boys were running low on stuff, and
went into Burger King and went in and got a grilled patty with cheese and salt.
It was good.
So that's the first time I had Burger King.
Right. I've had it before, but I went through the drive-through and they got it all completely wrong. Like she didn't have a clue what I was talking about. But then you went, and you always go in. You say
that's
you
rule of thumb.
Yeah,
face to face.
Go in, and it was perfect. It was fine. Then they did it right. So, all right. So we are going into week 9 now, right?
That's today. Yep.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. It's crazy that we're over halfway there. We're almost only a month left. It feels like it's second nature now. So we've gotten into this way of eating, and I feel like we're on day 57 now, and it's just become a, just second nature now.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, a lifestyle pretty much. We've already, like y'all, we've talked about before, already talking about where we will transition from this after the 90 days. And so that's a lot to decide in the next month. But we'll see where we go with that. We've kind of got different opinions. I personally want to go the paleo route. So I've done paleo a lot in the past. I've had fantastic results with it. Josh wants to go more into a step-by-step route and kind
animal based,
slowly add things back in. If you're not familiar with paleo, you can have like almond flour, almond butter, of course the vegetables. You just can't have like the grains, and you can't have dairy on paleo. But I would definitely tweak some stuff. I just more of a, and I guess my thinking is more of like what our lifestyle is kind of diet. So we do the raw milk, we do the honey, we do the meat. We'll start growing some vegetables here soon with it being spring. So it's just kind of that in my head mentally, kind of just a lifestyle of what we do and what we raise, more than like a restrictive type diet. So that's kind of where my head is. Even though paleo does have its restrictions, it's nowhere near as restrictive as carnivore. So you're wanting to go into
the animal based. I was reading the list last night of the things that you could eat, and I think it's something that we could maintain, but like introduce it maybe this week. Introduce blueberries. There's a whole list of things that we can have. A lot of different fruits. So one list said even sourdough bread, but one list said no grains. So there's a lot of different things that we could introduce. What was some of the others? Maple syrup.
Yeah.
Organic maple syrup
and honey. I don't know what else.
Raw milk.
But it had like different toxicity levels. So like low toxicity, it had all these foods you can have, which is pretty much what we're doing now. Maybe adding a few things, and then there's medium, and then there's high, what they really don't recommend that you having. So like things like tomatoes and stuff was on that list. Beans, I think. So
there was a list on heart and soil. I think it was Dr. Salino. Can't pronounce that name, but that's the list we looked at last night.
Yeah,
we'll show it later, maybe at some point. If we decide to go that route, it may be where I go that route. She goes paleo and get two more perspectives.
That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I'm not dead set on paleo. I mean, I understand I don't think I could mentally go from eating like this to like the next day eating sweet potatoes, because you can have sweet potatoes on paleo.
I'm gonna go get your phone.
So that's just one of those things. I don't know. I'm not saying paleo's it, and I agree with Josh in the sense of not just going from this way of eating overnight and wake up the next morning and you're completely changed everything. I don't want to do that. I can't imagine how that would affect us physically, digestively, mentally. So there's just a lot of moving pieces when you've been this restrictive on your way of eating, what the next step is. So I don't want to be dumb about it.
So I'm just going to talk about this list while we're on that topic. So that's it, heart and soil. And it says the typical animal proteins that we're currently consuming: raw dairy products, A1, A2, cheese, yogurt, kefir, cottage cheese, sour cream, whipping cream. We do that. Fruit, it would be just about every ripe fruit frozen or dried or fresh. Sweet fruits would be berries, apples, oranges, pineapple, pears, melons, bananas, mango, dates, etc. Non-sweet fruits would be zucchini, squash, pumpkin, cucumber, avocado, and olives. So that's a whole lot of different things that we can add back into our diet that we're currently not.
I couldn't imagine eating an olive right now, how that would taste.
Ooh, yeah. And then butter, tallow, suet, and ghee.
Which we did that already.
Yeah. Raw honey, organic maple syrup, agave syrup.
Yeah, but I
What
think
is
that's
that?
like fake stuff.
Spices would be salt, rosemary, basil, and cilantro. So that's all low toxicity. The medium toxicity is you can introduce this if you don't have any sensitivity to it, if you can tolerate it. It says introduce pork and chicken, which we've talked about the pork and chicken. We have no issue with chicken. A little bit
No.
of pork. It says veggies and grains, sauerkraut, pickles, sweet potato, yams, carrots, white rice, and sourdough bread. So I'm kind of liking the idea of sourdough bread. I'm missing that. But on the bottom down here, it says no grains. And then it says more fruit, rhubarb, star fruit. We'll never eat those, I don't think.
I don't know what star fruit is. Tell us what star fruit is if you know.
And then fat source would be, if you don't have any issues with it, avocado oil, olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, dark chocolate. You like your chocolate.
Yeah.
And lard. We already use lard. And then coffee and tea for beverages. And then herbs and spices would be rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, dill, mint, parsley, cinnamon, coconut aminos. So that's all medium toxicity. Then it says this is high toxicity, stuff they don't recommend. People generally says these tend to contain the highest concentrations of defense chemicals and may contribute to autoimmunity, joint pain, and digestive issues if consumed. So this is the one I want completely removed from my diet, regardless of what we do.
What?
Seed oils.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being very mindful of that going forward from now on. The canola, the soybean, rapeseed, cottonseed, safflower.
Safflower?
Safflower. And it says peanut oil, but I don't know about peanut butter. Vegetables says kale, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. We love Brussels sprouts. Cabbage, horseradish, radishes, and bok choy. And then roots would be beets, onions, and garlic. We love our onion and garlic.
Yeah.
So it may cause us issues.
I'm sure it does. Can you just imagine eating onions and garlic right now? Like, think of your digestive system eating onions and garlic right now, like how that would affect it. I couldn't picture it with onions and garlic. Like, I don't know.
And then fermented would be kimchi. We used to make our own kimchi. And then mushrooms. We like mushrooms, like foraging for them. It says it's high toxicity.
Yeah, I believe it. They affect me awfully
Yeah,
now.
it does.
I cannot eat mushrooms anymore. It's the most awful pain and experience I've ever had.
You tried mushroom powder before,
And it got me. I blowed out. I got so much gas, and it is excruciating pain. I don't know. It's just like a flip of a switch. I can't do mushrooms anymore.
So then it says grains: wheat, corn, oats, millet, quinoa, brown rice, and millet. But up above it, it says sourdough bread. Where does that sourdough bread come from? Wheat. I think it may be because it's fermented, and when it's fermented, it loses that got less glucose in it. I think it.
I don't know. It's been years since I've done sourdough. Sourdough for me was like having another child or another animal to take care of. So you've got to feed the starter every day. You've got to take care of it, or it goes to pot and molds, and it was just a lot. So I took sourdough off of my plate a long time ago. I still make homemade bread, but it's not sourdough.
So yeah, there's a bunch of different things on here: nuts and seeds to avoid, nightshades, herbs and spices. It's turmeric, pepper, cumin, soybeans, kidney beans. I have issues, I think, with beans. Artificial sweeteners, that's for sure.
Listen, so in the
So yeah, that's the list.
like, is stevia and monk fruit considered artificial sweeteners or no? Because they come from a tree, don't they, or something?
Yeah, it does say stevia and monk fruit.
See, like
And the LMT,
the elements they
they
have it.
have it.
So like in my brain, mentally, I'm having a hard time whenever I'm cooking like these. Like if I add some in the ice cream, or which I didn't this week, I used honey. But like the carnivore bars, or I've tried making a cake. We didn't talk about that. I tried making a cake on Saturday. It was awful, awful.
I ate it because I was hungry, but then
Later, you paid
I was
for it.
like, that didn't settle
That
well.
didn't settle well. So like I can't. That it just doesn't settle well with me. The stevia and the monk fruit. Um, that's why I like leaning more towards a paleo diet, because it's and I know we don't have to be eating it. Let me put that in there. I know technically that kind of stuff is not strict carnivore. I understand that. But in the sense of kind of having some flexibility with this way of eating, you know, kind of adding occasionally sweet teeth in there, I'm not liking the stevia and the monk fruit. I have it and I've used it, but it's kind of like one of those things like I kind of grit through. I would rather be using honey, or like real
Maple
food
syrup.
ingredients. Yes. And so that's kind of a with me on this. And that's why I lean more towards the paleo. Like I said, I've got so many recipes just memorized in my head, because we really, before this, followed a paleo line of eating, just like clean eating. We've mentioned multiple times, we didn't come out of from eating, like trash. We came out from eating relatively clean. We just cut out the grains and the sugars and all that, and we've gone to, the high protein. So um, I have a very paleo way of thinking instilled in me. So going all of that, mine is like occasionally like the sweets, and like I want something sweet, but I want it to be healthy, for the kids and for us. And so a lot of the sweets I would make in the past before we were doing this carnivore were paleo based, um, recipes. And so you've got your almond butter, your almond flour, your honey, stuff like that, your cocoa powder, and it would make um, phenomenal things. What am I trying to say? Desserts. It would make phenomenal desserts or plates or whatever. As to where with this carnivore, there's really no kind of loophole there, except for the carnivore bars. Those were good, and the ice cream has been good. Uh, but like I said, I tried to make a cake Saturday, which was like a whole stick of butter, a whole block of cream cheese, a little bit of vanilla, and then the cake was a hodgepodge of just eggs and certain ingredients like that. And it was just awful. It was not good. Augustus and I took a bite of it, and immediately we were like, no. Atticus ate about 10 bites of it and then took it to Daddy. And Daddy killed it because he was hungry. And I was saying the whole time, I cannot believe you're eating that, because that is just not good. Susan was not good. And he definitely was feeling it later. So,
I think because I ate too much.
well, maybe.
Maybe.
But.
Oh. All right. I guess that's need to wrap this up. Anything else you need to say? Alrighty. So we'll see you on the next one. If you're liking what you see, give us that thumbs up. Subscribe if you hadn't. That really helps us out with the algorithms.
Algorithm.
Algorithms. Yeah. So there we go.
Bye.